Alrighty, welcome y'all. We're gonna get started here in just a few minutes. If you could make sure your screen name shows either your first and last name or your first name and last initial, that helps us confirm attendance for today, so much appreciated. But my name is Sophie. I'm a volunteer coordinator here with LA Works, and I'm happy to be sharing this time with y'all today. If as you're entering, if you want to introduce yourself in the chat box and let us know someone that inspired you as a lifelong learner. Just to kick things off myself, my mom, I know it's always a parent or a teacher usually, but she actually just learned to skateboard last year. So not academic related, but I think it's always cool when you see people who continue to keep learning just throughout their whole lives in any area. Right now she's trying to learn chess. And she says that one's harder. So. Let's see. Heather, Karen, welcome. All right, SJ, I see you. I'm SJ, and my dad asked me every day if I learned anything. It always made me think of something. Did you do something new every time, or do you have some repeats in there?
He used to push me. I'd be like, today I did math. And he'd be like, but that's not what you learned, is it? And I'd be like, Dad.
You should have said, no, I learned all of math. Yeah, it's always good to have a parent who pushes you with that. All right, Jessie, my dad was really big on education growing up, so I never stopped, and I'm in graduate school now. So we love that for the dads, but definitely props to grad school. I haven't made it past my bachelor's yet. That was hard enough for me. Looks like we have some more people joining. We're gonna wait just a couple more minutes, let everyone come on in, but feel free to share your story, someone who inspired yourself as a learner.
Judy or Cindy, did you have anyone that inspired you as a learner?
Yeah, I think both my parents, like I know Sophie mentioned, my parents didn't have a chance to receive an education here in this country. So they've always pushed me to really do that as well. And I believe it was Jessie who said that they're in their grad program. I'm actually entering my grad program. So all of this is for them. They've inspired me.
I actually learned a lot from my first boss, actually from a lot of the people I've worked for, but really from my first boss. She taught me a lot about life and about she just had a lot of really good life lessons, and that's really carried me through in a lot of things in life. So.
Yeah, I know bosses can be hit or miss, so it's good to hear you had someone guiding you there.
I've had a lot of great women bosses, so it's been really nice.
I see a couple more in chat. And Kelly, my mom who went to college after having 5 kids and got her master's.
Wow.
Again, I only got to bachelor's and no kids, and that was hard enough for me. That is very inspirational. And Lakshmi, my parents inspired me through their struggle. They made sure we got the best education to be successful in life. Alrighty, I see a lot of other messages in here. Definitely read through this chat later on, but since we only have 30 minutes here, I do want to go ahead and get started. SJ, are you ready to
Princess Diana. Somebody is inspired by Princess Diana.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just reading that too. I was like, I want to hear more about that.
Right.
Yeah, we can get started. We do have a pretty tight schedule today, so we will, this session is being recorded, first of all, so we'll make sure to send a recording out, as well as our PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff if you need to, take a second glance at anything. But we can get started now. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm Sarah Jane Oscar, or lots of people call me SJ, and I am the Education Equity Programs Coordinator with LA Works. And if you're new to LA Works, if you haven't heard about us before, we are Los Angeles' premier volunteer action center. Every year we recruit, we mobilize and manage tens of thousands of new and returning volunteers in impactful and meaningful service to our Los Angeles community, just like you are today. So thank you so much for being part of our wonderful community. And as you can tell, Angelinos come from all over, including me. I'm obviously not from here. If you don't catch anything that I say, because I do have a funny accent, please feel free to just call it out in the chat and just say, can you please repeat that, SJ? It happens all the time and I don't mind it at all, so please do. We are here because we have a really special partnership with Annenberg Lerner and StepUp Tutoring, who we'll hear a little bit more from later on, to address education inequities in Los Angeles. And you have all taken your maybe first, maybe fifth steps in kind of becoming a part of the integral cogs of our education system in Los Angeles. Don't forget, if you are on any kind of social media, we are too. Your service can definitely inspire others to do the same. So please don't be shy, share as much or as little as you like, screenshots, pictures at home, good quotes, anything like that. We love to see it. Sophie, I believe you'll post our handles in the chat. Is that right? They'll be coming. Thank you. And we also have this really fantastic new thing called our resource library. And that is because we know that volunteers are committed to making change within our community, not just, through action, but also through learning. And so we want to empower you further by providing more in-depth information related to a whole bunch of different topics, which we will continue to add to. But at the moment, the one that we will link you to is education equity. And that's so that you kind of are, empowered to have the resources to be able to make and advocate for lasting change. And Sophie's dropped that in the chat too. If you have any questions throughout today, please feel free to pop them in the chat, or my old educator in me will say, whisper it into your hand and pop it in your pocket. And then later on, you can take it out and tell us. We will have a moment at the end for some questions, but yeah, if it's something really quick, just pop it in the chat and we can answer it there for you. If it's something really specific, like I can only tutor Tuesdays and Thursdays, hang on to that and we can address that at the end. But let's get to the reason that you are all here. We know that summer can be a really great time to kind of get out, get some of the stuff done that you don't get to do the rest of the year. Maybe it's, a project around the house, a vacation, an internship. Maybe it's volunteering, or maybe it's learning a new skill. For some, when we think about tutoring over the summer, that kind of takes us back to being kids ourselves. When we think about sitting quietly in the library or like remedial, essay writing or something like that because we've fallen behind or we didn't do a very good job. That is not what we're talking about with this type of programming. Education and tutoring has changed hugely. Even in the space, I've been a teacher for 10 years, even within that space, it's changed remarkably. So definitely don't think that that's what you're signing up for or, going to be learning about today. Modern virtual tutoring could not be further from that kind of stuff. But tutoring and mentoring plays a huge part in an equitable education system here in Los Angeles. And that supports students, teachers, parents and carers, and our community more generally. I'm going to shoot some kind of fast facts at you before StepUp takes over and tells you a little bit more. But many students in California are testing between 6 to 12 months behind in math and 4 to 9 months behind in English. And those statistics look a little different as you add in a couple of, education inequity markers. So that's students who are English language learners are a little bit further behind. Students of color are a little bit further behind. Students who were not born in the United States, students with special educational needs. As we add on those layers, it becomes more complex. And unfortunately, what that looks like is it looks like students who are falling further and further behind. Furthermore, a typical student, an average student, let's say, loses between 17 to 34% of the prior year's learning over summer. And so for a child who faces extra or additional educational inequities, the reality is far worse. Now, while there are a number of tutoring and mentoring programs throughout Los Angeles that serve elementary students, very few of them actually continue over the summer. And so that learning loss that we see over the summer continues into students who've been tutored or mentored as well. However, a program like StepUp Tutoring, who launched in mid-2020 amongst the backdrop of the pandemic, which I don't need to tell you, hugely exacerbated educational inequities, have really, set it as part of their goal to address this summer learning gap. The silver lining of the pandemic was that students were given the tech support like never before to learn from home in a way that we had never really thought was possible. StepUp Tutoring continues to support students year-round. To continue this amazing and impactful work, StepUp Tutoring needs wonderful folks just like yourselves who can join their community of support for students. They are flexible, supportive, fun, resourceful, responsive, and they deeply, deeply care about their students, their families, and their tutors. Now, I don't say this as someone who just recruits tutors, although it is my job, but I also say this as a tutor myself. Like I said, I've worked in education for 10 years, and I continue to learn and be surprised by the things that, I discover and do with my students, and, I feel like it's the best part of my day. We talk about fun stuff like animals, we joke about our dogs snoring, and then we learn about like really cool stuff like volcanoes. So it's a really, really fun experience. And I feel very, very privileged to be a part of their community. So with all that in mind, I will hand over to our StepUp Tutoring representatives, Cindy and Judy. They're going to talk you through the why, what, when, and hows of joining StepUp Tutoring. As I mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, or, if you have any kind of comments, we're there for that too. But otherwise, I think I can hand over to you, Cindy and Judy. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Cindy Guzman. I'm currently a fourth year at UCLA, getting ready to graduate this spring. And I originally began tutoring with StepUp back in September 2020. And that was really just because I recognized all the educational disparities as I had lived through many of them and really wanted to give back to the students. And since then, I have become one of the onboarding coordinator interns, which essentially just means I help folks like yourself hopefully become tutors, in an effort to bring and encourage other individuals to participate as well. And my experience with StepUp Tutoring has been so rewarding, and it's something that I definitely will always carry with me, especially as I previously mentioned, pursue my master's in school counseling beginning this summer. So again, thank you all for being here. It means a lot, and I will pass it on to Judy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Judy Warner, and by day, I help run a family residential real estate business, but I'm also a tutor, and I also interview tutors and people like you who come in, and after you apply to be a tutor, we interview you very briefly and just ask you a couple questions and have you have an opportunity to ask us some questions. But more importantly, I've been tutoring the same fourth grade boy for over a year now. I started tutoring in I guess, November of 2020, but this young man is just, the relationship we have is so fulfilling to me. And I know he's getting a lot out of it because he tells me every day, I couldn't do this without you, Judy. I say, yes, you could, you can. But more importantly, I'm getting a lot out of it. And I'm learning, and I didn't do it for those purposes, but it's really interesting how much I get out of the relationship with him. And I know that he's, his teacher has written back that he's really learning a lot. His mom tells me all the time, I don't know what you do to get him to read. And I really don't do anything except sit with him and read. And I think it's just that extra special person that's sitting with him, who's not his mom, who's not, a family member or his teacher, and who's paying attention to him, is really what's helped him so much. But I've learned a lot about the gold rush this year. It's really exciting, and I invite you guys to join me in that journey. So thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and give a short presentation about StepUp Tutoring. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and hopefully we will have some questions time available at the very end. So more about StepUp Tutoring. This video we're not going to show just because we're a little bit short on time. We want to make sure we get everyone out of here at the appropriate time. However, it will be sent out in an email after this meeting, and we really encourage you all to check it out. It's a student talking about StepUp Tutoring, a little bit more about it and how it's impacted their life. So really worthwhile watching it, and we hope you all do. All right. So more about StepUp. So StepUp Tutoring originally launched in June 2020. It is a nonprofit organization that saw a need, especially with the, like we talked about, inequities that were really heightened during the pandemic. We do have a 5-year agreement with LAUSD, which is great because that means we get to develop and nurture the relationships that we have with the students and with our partners. We currently do have over 1,000 students with tutors, which is amazing, and completed over 35,000 hours of tutoring and mentorship. And that's, to me, incredible because I know how much work goes into every single tutoring session and how much it impacts our students. So to know that this is the case is amazing. And we do have a goal of over 10,000 matches over the next 5 years, which we hope that you all will help us reach if you decide to become tutors with us. And really excited that we're expanding to new school districts in 2020 too. And this is really going to help us reach a wider range of students that really all need our help. So why did StepUp Tutoring come to be? What was a problem that we saw? 56% of students don't meet grade levels in English, and 67% of students don't meet grade levels standards in math. And those are not the numbers we want to see. We recognize the inequities, we recognize the issues, and we're really here to help these numbers go up and help improve the confidence of our students, because we know that they are capable. They just need to be provided the resources and the time and space to do so. So more about the solution, which is where StepUp Tutoring comes in. So we recruit, train, and match volunteers to provide free virtual academic support and mentoring to underserved students in grades 3 through 6. And I really emphasize mentorship because I think that's one of the unique portions of our organization. It's not simply just academic support or tutoring. It's really also about mentorship, which is super important for our students. A lot of these students don't have role models or don't have anyone that they can look up to, or someone that they can just talk to outside of their immediate family that they feel comfortable with. And that's really going to go a long way, even with their academic support, as they'll feel comfortable with you and form that relationship and bond with you. Also really important that we are free to all students. So making it accessible for those families that typically wouldn't able to afford this resource. So we wanted to include that as well. We also partner with school districts, teachers, and families to support the students, as we recognize that tutoring and mentorship is not strictly only with the student. There's a whole community behind the student. So we want to make sure that we're including them in our conversations and including them in our organization as well. And oops, sorry about that. You think I'd be better at this by now. Tutoring increases classroom engagement, academic performance, and confidence, which is really what we want. We want our students to be confident and be able to believe in themselves. So a little bit more about how it works. And this is a good visual representation of our organization. So on the tutor side, you would volunteer and apply. And then from there, you'll have tutor training and onboarding. On the student side, the family would apply, and then they will get connected to a tutor and have all that support. And then tutoring sessions begin via Zoom. Now, what it looks like on the school side is that the superintendent identifies different schools that are most in need of StepUp Tutoring, in which we then work with the program, and we work with the teachers and staff so that the teachers can then share this opportunity with the families. And we do have the program requirement right there, and we will speak more about these requirements in a later slide. But overall, good visual representation of the different factors that compose our organization. So more about requirements and tutor responsibilities. So we do require all tutors to tutor twice a week via Zoom, and this is one-on-one tutoring. And each session is 45 minutes, but if you really think about it, you combine those two 45-minute sessions together, it's only an hour and a half a week, which we hope you all have the flexibility and ability to do so. Talking about flexibility, another really unique portion of our organization is that it's completely based on your own schedule. So we don't really have set times and days that we tutor. If you can only tutor on weekends, great. We will find you a student who's only available on weekends, and it was open to those tutoring sessions. So really flexible with that. We do have weekly updates shared with teachers and StepUp just so that everyone is in the loop. And we do schedule with families by text. And what we mean by that is that we do use a platform called Remind 101, in which it configures a fake phone number for you, so you can go ahead and talk to the student's family that way. So you don't have to worry about any safety concerns using your own phone number. And then really important, we do require a minimum of 3 months commitment. And that's just so that we're able to build rapport and really build meaningful relationships with our students. We don't want to show up once or twice and then never see them again. So we really want them to know that this is a commitment for tutors and for students. Lastly, we do focus a lot on homework and math and English. However, we never want to limit any of our tutors with what they can or cannot help the student with. So if they need help in art or science and you feel comfortable doing so, go for it. And also really important to build a relationship with their student, mentor them, and most importantly, have fun. We never want tutoring for our students to be like a drag or them be unhappy participating in it. So that's why it's really crucial that we put in our part to make this something that's endurable for our students. So a couple of other reasons that you can get involved or why you should get involved with StepUp Tutoring. It's not only tutoring roles that we have, volunteer roles, we also have different internships and different programs. Like we offer career development for a lot of folks. If you are interested, maybe the pedagogy team or the marketing team or coding tech side, there's a lot of different ways you can get involved. Of course, we want you to be tutors, but in the event that you want to be a tutor and you are interested in a different type of role within the org, we are more than happy to have you. Now this is where we're going to ask you all for help. Help us recruit more tutors. You all saw the goal that we want to have over 10,000 matches over the next 5 years, and we hope that you can help us reach that goal. So introduce us to the different communities that you're a part of: sports, church, synagogue, book clubs, anything. If your work maybe is interested in having an info session where you all can participate in this, let us know. We're always looking for more tutors. So more about how to sign up. So this is a link for the tutor application, and it will be sent to you after as well. So first, initially, you have to apply, fill out the application, and then you will be prompted to schedule a meeting with a StepUp team member, this is what Judy in the beginning was mentioning. And it's basically just an informal conversation we have with you all, just to kind of get to know you a little bit better, who you are as an individual, and kind of your motivation as to wanting to get to tutor. We love to hear your stories. Next is attending a live virtual training session. And this is really nice because community is really important to us as an organization. Therefore, this is where you'll get to meet other folks like yourselves who are interested in becoming tutors in the process of onboarding. And it's a Zoom meeting where we all get together. We explain more about the ins and outs of the program of onboarding, family communication, tricks and tips for tutoring sessions, how to prepare for your first tutoring session. So really good. We also ask you to complete an online workbook and complete a background check, which is also referred to as a life scan. And this is just for safety reasons, of course. But the onboarding process, we like to think, is relatively short and sweet, simple. Most of our tutors take about roughly 1 or 2 weeks to complete it. So hopefully this is something that's feasible for you all. So next we have that we don't require our tutors to have any prior experience at all. We recognize the value and the traits that we all come to the table with, so we really want to enhance and tap into those. So we do support and train. So in terms of training, we have workbook and live training like we mentioned, and it's also continued training and workshops that we offer for tutors. It's not just one stop and we never see you all again. We invite you all to come out to our tutor events, to our community events that we do have. We also have a resource center. So in the event that maybe your student doesn't have homework one day, or during the summer, this is really where we tap into our resource center, where we have different lesson plans and math and English resources approved that you can go ahead and work on with your student. In terms of support, a lot of oversight and a lot of responsiveness from our tutor experience manager. And we also do drop-ins and support from instructional coaches who have a long line of experience within education that are always happy to help. We also have a tutor mentor program if that's something you're interested in, as well as office hours in math, English, tech, and tutor support. So we really try to tap into all the areas that we feel folks might need a little bit more support with, and hopefully you all would take advantage of these resources, as well as a weekly tutor forum, just to kind of let us know where you're at within that week. And lastly, we would like to share this contact with you all, our Director of Community Outreach, Lisa Elson. Her email is right here. And any questions that you have, she'd be more than happy to answer. We will also have a Q&A portion, hopefully if time allows us right now. But again, thank you all for participating and listening to our short, but hopefully sweet and easy to understand presentation. At this time, we will take questions. There you go. Sophie was kind enough to put Lisa's email in the chat as well, if you all are interested.
I did just want to mention too, I know lots of you are college students who are looking to get some service learning done. And I know a lot of colleges offer reimbursed live scan, what am I saying, background checks. So that can be something that can be organized through your college, but StepUp also can offer that if it's a financial hardship for you. And they offer a really like amazing kind of a step-by-step breakdown of that live scan process if you've never been through it before.
Should I answer the last question since we're in questions?
Yeah.
So somebody's asking, what's the post-session documentation requirement and what platform does that take place on? Once a week, we write sort of a little synopsis, a little document will come up on your, just pops up on your computer, actually. It's called a weekly summary, and there's a little paragraph that you write to the teacher. It says, write 2 sentences to the teacher, write 2 sentences to the parent, and is there anything that you want StepUp to know? 2 sentences. Just tell them what you worked on during the week. And an automated email is generated to the teacher, to the parents, and to StepUp. So there's really no documentation that you have to fill out. There's nothing difficult. It's just a box that you're filling in. Do we have internships available right now? Yes, we do have internships available. Who's the right person for them to call for internships? Do you know, Cindy?
Yeah, you can actually apply through our site. So I will link the tutor or the internship portion of our site in the chat, and you can go ahead and explore there.
Yeah, so I guess they'd all be listed on our site. We definitely have internships available. Does anyone else have any questions? Are these sessions after 5 p.m.? I don't know which the tutoring sessions can take place anytime you have time. What I do is I tell the parent, what I tell people to do is to give the parent or the guardian the time that you're available to choose from. I don't let them really dictate the time that they're available. I give my schedule and let them pick from the time that I'm available. And I always keep it the same. I keep very regular hours with my student. That way they know to show up at those times. I feel like their lives can be very hectic. A lot of them have a lot going on in their lives. So I just keep everything very regular. And I know with students, sometimes that's hard because you have finals and all this kind of stuff. You can change the schedule. You can go away. We're very flexible. I just don't really discuss that with the parent until it comes up. We have substitute teachers, substitute tutors who can help out. It's okay if you miss a session or you could change a day when it comes up, but I just try and make it convenient for me at the beginning and keep it very regular so they get used to the schedule, if that makes sense. There's a lot you've forgotten from math. Everybody says this about math and algebra and everything else. We have plenty of training. We have all kinds of, first of all, we have a workbook that will teach you all about math. And we have these coaches that are really, really, really wonderful. But what's so great is you're really just assisting the kids. You're not responsible for really teaching them something unless a very hard question comes up and you really have to go to it. But we also have a wonderful tutor community that can help you. And we've had situations before where I've had to go to a different tutor and ask them for help or something like that. So there's also, it's not a disgrace to Google an answer or, figure it out. I mean, we all do that. And so it's okay. You're not expected to be perfect. We're all older than we were when we were in the 4th grade. So it's okay to not know the answer and not remember exactly how to do a problem. We're learning and I learn along with them. So, half the time I have to figure it out. But it's okay. Don't be scared of the fact. Everybody says that they're very fearful of the math. It's not that hard. If I say that, believe me, it's okay. We have plenty of training available to you. So don't be scared of the math. The English is harder than the math.
Judy.
Could we ever meet more than twice a week if you want? If you want to, I have heard of people. I actually heard of one man meeting 5 times a week with his student who needed a lot of help. I assume that's up to you, and up to the student and their family. I would assume that that is okay. You can also take on more than one student if you want. So, that's entirely up to you and how much time you have. The kids in the program, okay, so the kids in the program are not assigned to the program. They are, their parents, either they're recommended by maybe their principal, their teacher may have recommended it to the family, or maybe the parents saw a sign, they may have seen it in a bulletin that the school put out or something to that effect, or seen it on a bulletin board at the school, but somehow the parent found out about it and signed up. It's not a required type of thing where the student is failing and the parent is told you must do this. So you're not dealing with kids who are, it could be that the child doesn't want to do it, but it's because, their parent is telling them to do it. It's not because they're required by the school to do it, if that's what you mean.
Hey, Judy, just to let you know, it's 5:01 and I know you have a couple of interviews.
Okay. It's okay. I can finish this.
Okay.
She can wait a second. This is a good question. Is there a piece of tech that allows the tutor to view the book and worksheet? Okay, so when you're tutoring, the unfortunate, the student will share their screen with you and share the work that they're working on with you. They're usually in Google Classroom, and so they'll share the work with you. Unfortunately, you can't interact with it. So you are just sort of looking at it and helping them that way. You can go to the whiteboard and you can go to Jamboard, and you can do different things like that to work on the schoolwork with them. When you get to the summer program or any of our program, we have a whole website. It's called Pedagogy of Tutor. Our tutors have put together curriculum. A lot of that is interactive, where you and the student can both work on it together. So we have both. I prefer that. And last summer we used a program called Reading. What was it called? Reading Nook?
Book Nook,
Right.
I believe.
Oh, Book Nook, right.
Yeah.
Sorry. And that was great because we both had each side of it. We were each able to work with. So that was really fun. It's a little, when you can only look at it, it is hard, but I can see it. Schoolology shares screens with Google and Jamboard. I think they do, but are you able to do it? Sarah Jane, are you able to do Schoolology and share it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My student uses Google Classroom, so I can't.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the student.
Yeah.
And just to go off of that a little bit, I know SJ put this in the chat already, but our live training session is really dedicated for questions like this, and really is going to hopefully show you all different ways that you can interact with the student virtually. We understand it sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult if it's not actually on pen and paper. However, we do have like the Zoom whiteboard, Jamboard that we can use. We also show you all how you can maybe like upload a picture online and work on that interactively together as well. So a lot of that coming your way in the future onboarding steps.
I'm really excited about the people who are saying that they're excited to apply and be part of it. So thank you so much. The kids really thank you. And it's a great experience. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be as rewarding as it is. And
Definitely.
it really is.
It's
Well,
something
thank
that I like to say. I'm wrapping up here. Something that
That's
I like
okay.
to say is that it's a small commitment with a big impact. So it's only an hour and a half a week, but this is really going to go a long, long way with our students. You help them a lot more than you think you would initially. And this is something that they're going to remember going forward in their educational experience. So you all are really going to make a difference in their lives.
You brought it round full circle, Cindy. All those people at the beginning that you thought about, whether that's, parents or teachers or grandparents, you can be that person in this student's life. You know, it's a really, really exciting program. And I'm so grateful that we get to work in partnership with StepUp Tutoring, because you know, not only do I get to have that impact, you know, a couple of times a week with my student, but I get to kind of talk to people about it all week, which is very exciting and inspiring. So thank you so much for being here to you both. And sorry, we've kept everyone a couple of minutes over. If you do have any extra questions, Sophie and I will hang around for a little while. We can always either, you know, direct you to the right person, or we can answer those questions for you. But thank you so much, all of you, for coming here today. Like I said, look out for that email in the morning, which will have all of the resources that you need to become a StepUp tutor. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much to Cindy and Judy as well.